Hi, good morning, and welcome to our meditation on grace. Today is the 25th of March, and I would like to read in Ephesians chapter 5, verse 15. Be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise. So we are talking about God's grace and the wisdom He gives us in His grace. So Paul here is exhorting the church in Ephesus to walk in a wise way. We find here the therefore, though it doesn't appear here, but it appears in the verse 17, but it should be in here. In French, you say donc, portanto, in Portuguese. Every time you read, you find this therefore in Paul's letters. It's because he has just given us an important teaching, he has explained something, and then he's telling us to practice what we have learned. And then he says, therefore. And that's what he's doing here. We are nearly at the end of the letter. He has explained how God has revealed to him the mystery of Christ. And now he's saying, therefore, be careful then how you walk. Translated here for live, which is synonym of walk here. How should you walk if you are in Christ, if you have learned Christ, as it says in Ephesians? You have learned him, so now you should walk with him. This is a synonym of remaining in him, as Jesus says in John chapter 15. To walk in Jesus is the same thing as to live in Jesus or to remain in Jesus. So how are you going to behave when you live, when you walk, when you remain in Christ? He says in verse 16, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. Making the most of every time, here translated as opportunity, and it is the word kairos. There are two words for time in the Bible from the Greek language. The first is chronos, which is the time that is making things to pass here on Earth, in the solar system, and everywhere in the galaxy, and everywhere in the universe. This morning, my wife opened the door and said the tulips are coming. So if you're listening to this message here in Europe or in the Northern Hemisphere, you know that we are in spring now. In the hemisphere where I came from, and there are only two, so I came from Brazil, the Southern Hemisphere, they are entering fall or autumn now, depending if you're American or British. So this is telling us that time is passing. My beard, it wasn't white a few years ago, but my time is passing. It's interesting because in Brazil, people have a way of saying for your birthday, they say instead of you have another year has passed, they say you have gained another year. It's a positive way of saying, of expressing something that is actually negative, because when you became two, when you turned two, you actually lost 2 years of your life, because it's not counting. You're not gaining time. You are losing time. You are losing chronos, like the tulips. And then after the tulips, the roses and the geraniums and the other summer flowers will come. And it tells us that time is passing. Here, Paul is not using the word chronos. He is using kairos, translated in the NIV for opportunity. Some people call this the God's time, and God's time is eternal, and it is now. So you don't know how many years you're going to live here in this planet. But one thing you know, that you should redeem time. And redemption is a favorite theme of the Bible. In Genesis 3:15, it is announced that someone was coming to smash the head of the snake, of the serpent. And then in Revelation chapter 7, it says that the redeemed are before the throne singing, "Worthy is the Lamb who was slain." It's the red thing that goes through the whole Bible. And here he's telling us that we should redeem God's time in our lives. And that is a wise way of living. Therefore, and we find our magic word here, therefore, do not be stupid, but understand what the Lord's will is. He says unwise in this translation, verse 15, and here he says foolish, stupid. Don't be stupid. Because we are living on time that we haven't got. So redeem your kairos, redeem your time with God today. And that's a wise way of living. God bless you.